We're back today, another video over here on SCS Combat, and today we're going to be talking about a huge domestic matchup coming up this weekend. Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank. Um, this is a great fight, very equal. You got two fighters. Jack Catterall was at world level, now he's stepping down a level technically. Harlem Eubank coming up to try and challenge at the world level for the first time. Great matchup between two great fighters. So we're gonna have a wee breakdown and then we're gonna go into my predictions for this fight this Saturday. First of all, start off where both fighters are coming from here. Jack Catterall, mostly known for his fight against Josh Taylor, where he fought for the undisputed title. He fought for all the belts against Josh Taylor at 140, I believe, and everyone thought he should have won, and unfortunately he got robbed. So going on from there, he continued to do very good in his career. Most recently, he beat Josh Taylor in a rematch, and then he beat Regis Prograis, former undisputed world champion and former world champion. Two very solid wins back to back, and then he did take on Arnold Barbosa Jr., in which he lost a very close split decision. Still in good form. He was good in that Barbosa fight. Just unfortunately, he was getting beat by volume. I would say took over that fight. A lot of the times Barbosa, Catterall has a good job, and Barbosa would close space by throwing his 1-2 and then he would throw another one. So he'd go jab, right hand jab and jump in with that jab and it would close the space on Catterall. So it just kind of threw that extra shot in to mess with the rhythm and the tempo of Jack Catterall. Then you switch it to the other hand. Harlem Eubank, I believe, is 21-0. He's a great fighter. 32, I'm pretty sure, and age is another factor. Harlem Eubank's about 32 coming up. He's had a great career so far, obviously undefeated. I mean, don't get any better. He's been with Wasserman, been built up great in my opinion, to get him to this point obviously. Also along with Conlon Sports, I'm pretty sure. But in my opinion, his only real test yet or maybe not his only real test, but his best test by far in his last fight. Unfortunately for me, he won. But yeah, he took on one of Belfast's own great fighter in himself, the mighty Catterall McKenna. Shout out to him. Harlem Eubank was sharp and it was impressive stuff. Obviously, I wasn't too happy with it, but that's how it goes sometimes. Very rarely do your favorite fighters win. The good thing for this is that I have completely no bias in this prediction, so it's just going to be a good one to get stuck into and break down. The last time out, comparative performances, Harlem Eubank looked the best and the sharpest he'd looked yet, whereas Jack Catterall had a bit of a rocky one with Arnold Barbosa Jr. Obviously, there's no discredit to that there. I mean, Arnold Barbosa Jr. did go on then to fight Teofimo Lopez, and although he lost, it shows the level that they're at here. So going up a weight class for Jack Catterall this time, 147. Might feel fresher and sharper, now that he's not cutting the whole way down. He's got an extra 7 pounds on him. It's huge. I just on a second, just on the note of their last performances, in Harlem Eubank's last performance against Terry McKenna. The first time he dropped Terry McKenna, and I'll put the clip in, the first time he dropped him was extremely impressive. I'll show the clip obviously from my position where I seen it. It was one of the most mental punches I've seen in real life at a boxing event. Obviously, people who know Terry McKenna know his chin is unbelievable. More than his chin, obviously, he's been knocked down. I think his recovery is one of the best in the game, because you'll see in his shot when I put it in, Harlem Eubank hit him with one of the nicest uppercuts I've ever seen in my life, one of the nicest punches I've ever seen. And obviously, Terran just got up, probably smiled and nodded or something, but that uppercut was completely unbelievable. Like, it was so sharp. It was just, I think you could hit Terran through a jab and just slip uppercut. I think one of the factors of this fight will come into this fight is obviously, is Jack Catterall, has he just had an unlucky loss? I mean, it's not like he lost to anyone below world level. Obviously, Arnold Barbosa Jr. is a great fighter. Obviously undefeated. Well, obviously he'd only lost once up until Teofimo Lopez fight. Real ones know what I'm on about there. Not a bad thing, not a bad person for Jack Catterall to lose to. But this fight is gonna show, obviously, not that Harlem Eubank mightn't be world level, but it's gonna be his first test. Realistically, obviously, even though it's a weight class above, this should be Jack Catterall's performance where he comes out and proves, I'm still here, I'm still up there as one of the best there is in the world. Or can it be the opposite, where it's Harlem Eubank's time to shine? But if it is Harlem Eubank's time to shine, then that could be it maybe for Jack Catterall. Like, we don't know at this rate. Jack Catterall is one of those fighters where he's never actually been completely dominated and shut out, and at the level he's fought at, that's extremely impressive. You know, when you're taking on the likes of Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor, former undisputed former world champion. You know, Jorge Linares beat him, former world champion. Solid. You know, guys that he fought. Also fought Terry McKenna. Ugman, 30 wins. 30 wins and 2 losses. 2 losses are against Josh Taylor, which is the one that everyone thinks he won, and his last fight where he lost against Arnold Barbosa Jr. in a very close fight, who was undefeated. So he's taken on technically 2 undefeated fighters in a row here. Harlem Eubank, on the other hand, 21 and 0, 9 knockouts. So obviously coming off the best win and the best performance of his career against Terry McKenna for the IBF Intercontinental title. Obviously, in terms of experience and, you know, levels, Jack Catterall's going to have the advantage there. You're taking on guys like Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Jorge Linares, even Arnold Barbosa where he lost. Like, this is all experience, and it's experience against the best in the world. As a style matchup, this should be interesting. You know, in my opinion, in the last fight with Harlem Eubank, he was very patient in his performance. You know, and it was even more great showing for him because he was fighting in his hometown. He was fighting in Brighton, and you know, none of it affected him. He had a really calm, patient, sharp performance. You know, he wasn't going in constantly and trying to land all these mental shots. He was patient, he took his time, and he threw when it was correct time to. And whenever he threw, he made sure it landed. It was accurate, it was sharp, and it was hard, and it worked. I think that type of style can be hard to beat for anyone. But then on the other hand, when you look at Catterall's style, Catterall's kind of got that jab, and he's got this big he's got this weird kind of right hand. It's not like straight. I think it's like this like looping type thing. That fight against Josh Taylor, that rematch, he showed his ability to go to war. But then in his fights like Regis Prograis and Arnold Barbosa, where he lost, he shows his ability to box. But in that fight against Regis Prograis, he knocked him down. Yeah, with a beautiful left hand. Left straight. You know, and he uses that jab a lot. Watched the interview with Sean McComb earlier on, said he sparred to Jack Catterall and that he's a great job. A lot of people that goes unnoticed in his opinion. Could be an interesting match style. I think I've always liked when we watch Jack Catterall, his movement in particular. Like, he's great footwork, he's great at getting in and out, he's great job. Jack Catterall predicting that he thinks Eubank's gonna come out fast, but he's gonna start getting his jab off quick, and he thinks that's gonna damage Eubank and his want, and he thinks Eubank's gonna back off and then probably potentially finish him down the line. Whereas Eubank comes out, he says he's gonna stop him, says it's gonna be domination, and predicts sharp explosive performance, which he showed in his last fight he's capable of. Jack Catterall also said he's gonna school Eubank. So look, we'll see. See, my mind, I really feel like I should pay. I feel Eubank is the pick for this fight. I don't know why. You know, I'm kind of swaying towards Eubank automatically, but then in my mind, I'm thinking Jack Catterall. You know, the level he's boxed at, the experience he has, the skills he has in his own right. I can see a couple of outcomes in this fight. You know, I can definitely see Jack Catterall coming out and putting on a dominant display of boxing. Due to his experience and the levels he's fought at, that I believe that he will just have more knowledge of what to do. He'll have more experience and he'll be calmer in the situation. Or I could see him maybe getting a bit too over aggressive on the front foot, and then, you know, because he kind of leans in with these looping shots. Maybe Eubank, like he did to Terry McKenna, counters him, potentially hurts him and then stops him. That's definitely an outcome that's possible. I think based off, something just tells me Eubank. If you're like, this is just the way that's who I'm feeling is gonna win. But if you want to go off IQ, I mean, if you're gonna do a technical pick, I would pick Jack Catterall. You know, he's fought at a higher level, has more experience. You know, he's really been up there. He's fought for undisputed. You know, not many fighters have even been undisputed with the 4 belt era, and he's challenged it and arguably should have won. You know, sometimes when it comes to fights, you just have a feeling that someone's going to do it. And although technically he hasn't had the experience, he hasn't been in those moments. But I think because of the trajectory he's on and the way he performed in his last fight, something is just telling me to go for Harlem Eubank. So that's going to be my pick. But this is going to be a really, really, really good scrap. I would not miss this one. This is a great, great, great fight. You know, and it's one of those fights that I get to watch where I have no bias in it. So there's no, you know, you just get to watch and see two great fighters go at it, and that's the best type of fight, you know. We have on that card the return of Joe Cordina. Obviously, lost his last fight to Anthony Kakachi. Yeah, probably the best super featherweight in the world. He did beat Joe Cordina pretty bad in a great performance and a breakout performance. It wasn't Joe Cordina's night that night. Still, obviously, he's coming off only losing his world title. So, former world champion, straight back in there. So, he'll be looking to make a comeback win. Pat Bryan returns. Leo Atang, so two built up heavyweights. You know, Leo Atang is built up to be the next Anthony Joshua. So, we'll see about that there. William Corolla returns, former world champion once again. Sky Nicholson returns on the undercard, and she'll be looking to get back to winning ways after losing her WBC world title against Tiara Brown. And I believe she is also jumping down a weight class, so gonna be interesting for her. But that's gonna be all for the day. Something tells me Harlem Eubank, and then I'm gonna pick Joe Cordina. I'm gonna pick Sky Nicholson, and a couple of prospects on that card. Should be interesting to see. So check it out, and that'll be all for the day. Like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, you know, subscribe over here. Great things, added dropping. And yeah, that's it. Make sure to tune in this weekend. It's gonna be a great fight. And come back here, subscribe and come back, because I'll probably have my reaction. And if I don't, I'll be doing UFC videos anyway. So check everything out, and that'll be it.